Hi, I'm Renee Manzari. I have 16 years of experience across global financial institutions in technology, risk management at Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, and Freddie Mac. I'm a certified AI governance professional. I'm also certified in data privacy and also a certified financial risk manager. I also hold an MBA from the University of Warwick in the UK. Today, I run Firemark, which is an AI governance advisory firm. And I also help to deploy and run AI governance for companies and automate their workflows in the event that they're not ready for AI governance. And I'm just starting out with AI. The project that I'm most proud of, I helped a legal professional to with a 5 a.m. brief. So this, I noticed that one of his biggest headaches was that on Sundays, as an attorney, he had to sit down and look through his caseloads, look at what he needed to prioritize to ensure that he did not miss anything with respect to preparing for his work week, preparing any specific documentation, any depositions, or any briefs that he needed to prepare for that upcoming week. Because as an attorney, one of the things that most attorneys can be brought to the Bar Association is for not submitting things on time. And so I developed an AI brief or 5 a.m. brief that he would get to his that would be sent to his email at 5 a.m. each morning. It was connected to his practice management tool and his calendar, and that would have an overview of his cases or caseloads for the week, what he needed to prioritize, what documents he needed for each specific case, and that helped to save around 4 hours per week in terms of non-billable hours. In terms of salary, I am comfortable with the compensation that was listed. However, anything over 100,000 and above is what I'm looking for. All right, so we have 4 initiatives here. And at face, they may seem equally important, but they're not. So the reason why they're not equally important is that one, you have 78% of decisions require CEO approval, and that's not a fourth problem next to the other 3. It's actually the root cause of most of them. Offers wait there, and it's part of why time to fill is 58 days. The scope call also waits there, and that's part of why the launch slipped twice. And the escalations also wait there, and that's part of why 3 accounts are now at risk. The other 3 metrics are just symptoms of the problem. And so we're treating this one as a disease. My ranking would be revenue first, the CEO dependency second, and the product third, and the recruiting last. The revenue first because it's the only item with an external clock, and 18% of the ARR decides in 10 days. Recruiting is last. Hiring is a broken decision system that just reproduces a problem at a higher payroll. The part I want to be explicit about is reducing CEO dependency doesn't get its own work stream. It gets installed through the revenue crisis. Every threshold and delegation I set while saving the account becomes the operating system. Build during a calm week, and that's a document nobody reads. Build during a bad week, however, it's a habit. So for this slide, this is the AI leverage plan. On AI leverage, there will be 3 tiers: automate, assist, and what you will never do. And never is the one that matters. The rule comes from Glasswing, which I mentioned earlier. When a stage can't stand to validate its own input, it halts and routes to a human. In other words, human in the loop. And the same rules here. The machine assembles, people sign. On impact, 12 to 14 hours reclaimed by 90 days, but only about 5 of those are from AI. The other 8 are from delegation. If I automated everything and changed nothing about who's allowed to decide what, I'd save 5 hours and still have a bottleneck. Let me show you the dashboard rather than describe it. The constraints sit at the top in red. 78%, the number this whole page exists to shrink. So these are the CEO initiatives that are in queue. This queue is capped at 5. Every item has a recommendation and a default that execute if the CEO doesn't reply by a stated time. That default is what actually reduces dependency. Here we have the escalation register, and thresholds here are agreed in advance, so nobody negotiating them under pressure in the moment. Three events land in the same week. The CEO gone for 72 hours. My triage rule would be in irreversible time times clock speed. Only one of the 3 has an actual external clock. The declined VP operations candidate feels urgent and isn't. The only perishable thing there is the reason he said no, and that keeps for 2 days. Here we have 4 leaders, 4 work streams. The one I point to is the operations manager that runs daily stand-up, not me. If I chair every meeting for the 3 days, I've just moved the bottleneck. On escalation, 16 years in second line risk taught me the real failure isn't under escalating. It's the threshold getting renegotiated in the moment under pressure by the person with the most to lose. So these are set now while everyone's calm and in writing. My rule for authority, I decide anything reversible inside 72 hours. The CEO decides anything that binds the company after he's back. Holding the launch date is reversible. Announcing one is not. And that distinction is basically the whole rule. The last slide are the 5 metrics for the top initiatives, each with a baseline captured in 1 week. A target without a baseline is just a wish, not a plan. So notice that the last row belongs to initiative C, not D. Retention targets aren't reachable if every escalation still waits on a calendar. That's the honest test of whether these 2 initiatives are actually coupled that way. So that's it for the walkthrough. Thank you so much.